Insights with Terri Coots, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Coots. Here's Terri.
Hi everybody, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Thanks for joining me, and we are going to explore the week of July the 12th through the 19th, 2026, together. I hope your last week had all the good situations or situations that ended good to offer you opportunities in growth and expansion in your life. I would love to hear some of the stories that maybe some of you have experienced. Those are teaching moments when we share with each other our stories, our experience, what we are experiencing. It teaches if we are in the mind of learning. So when we can share with each other and communicate, I think it's really, really important, especially with all that Gemini energy in Mars, which I'm going to talk to you about right now. So we still have that Cancer, same as last week and the week before. And the week before that, we have that Cancer in the sun sign, and that is compassion and love and caring. That is going to change, and the next energy field we'll be experiencing is Gemini, and we have to work through that, but for right now we are still in that Cancer energy, and we've got quite a few days before that leaves us. I love Cancer energy. I happen to have very many of my dogs that I keep for my own, not just the rescue dogs, that seem to always end up being Cancers. They're so loving, they're so caring, they're so compassionate, they're so kind to each other, they're so psychic in the area of sensing what's going on. Going to people that are hurting. When I have clients here and they're hurting, and those Cancer pups of mine end up in somebody's lap saying, "It's okay, pet me, you'll feel better. Go ahead, pet me. Watch how good you feel if you pet me." So yeah, Cancer dogs are one of my favorites. And we still have that Mercury retrograde going on. That'll resolve itself before too very much longer, but even when it starts to go direct, we still have to experience it. It seems to hit a crescendo when it starts to change. So that's where you put your seatbelts on. Think of yourself as on a roller coaster, and it's an emotional, physical roller coaster. And when you change directions at 100 miles an hour with your hair on fire, that's what it feels like. To me, anyway, when Mercury starts to go direct, it's like a complete reversal of the energy, and the wind just gets sucked right out of my lungs. And that's still in Cancer too. And then Venus, planet of love, beauty, and attraction, is in Leo. That will be changing to Virgo on the 10th. I think, the 10th. And so that was last week. And that change that we had to manage there, especially in our emotional field. Virgo, not that Virgo doesn't care and doesn't love, it's an energy field that does, but it's a little bit more able to classify things, to put things in their proper drawers, to say, well, let me see, I'd like to rip her face off and beat her over the head with it because I'm really mad at her, but maybe she didn't mean it the way she said it. Maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe I was having a bad day and I received those sarcastic remarks badly. So Virgo energy in this field, by the time you arrive at what you've identified, it's too late. You can't even bring it up anymore because a year has passed. So we're going to be in that kind of an energy. Now, that's a good energy field for not creaming people unjustly and being able to look at the situation and trying to tear it apart, which plays into the fact that the universe has been pushing us to look outside of ourselves and find out what other people are going through so we can understand, I think I mentioned last week, the triggers. What is triggering that person that you're having difficulty at work with, or at home with, or on the street with, or behind the cash register with? That's not just a robotic body. It's a human being with a soul that has their own life experience and may have triggers of their own that are expressing themselves in your face. And And it's very difficult for you because you're trying to express your issues in their face. And so it becomes very wet. So you have to look at this in a way that Virgo will offer you the cold, the cooling of the heat of emotional display, and allowing you to step back, step out, and try to figure it out. That's not bad. That's not a bad energy to have. I like that. And then Mars, the planet of drive, passion, that's in Gemini. So this is a great energy to help us figure it out. Yay, us. So trying to figure something out and trying not to get emotional about it, and trying to look at it and say, what's really going on here, and then communicate it. Just, I'm getting the sense as you're pounding my brains into the sidewalk that you're upset about something. Something has triggered you. And then they'll either be nicer or they'll just keep pounding at you. You have the opportunity to communicate with each other. And the Virgo energy will let you know when probably is a better time. Sometimes it's better to let everybody cool off before you try to communicate things. The beginning of the week is more stomach related, and this is kind of interesting for me. I will tell you about that later. That's a cliffhanger. So it's the stomach. And so we'll have many of us, and our animals. Don't forget our animals, because in this heat too, they drink more water than they're used to. They get loose stools. They might upcheck on your pillow. They just drink a whole bunch of water and then just go boop on your bed just before you're supposed to crawl into it and go to bed. Not that I've ever had that experience, but, oh yes, I have. So this stomach week is maybe going to give us some issues with our animals and ourselves. But there's a reason for it, kids. As always, there is always a reason for this. Pancreas may be a little bit vulnerable too, that area, and pancreas make our stomach feel crappy if we're not, if we have a pancreatic issue and we have too much fat, our pancreas will adamantly let us know that we don't feel comfortable. That's where dogs end up in the emergency with pancreatic events that maybe got into the fat or the oil. And so our small intestine and that can, if it stays in the blood in the body, go to our kidney and our liver. So this is what we have this week. So let's basically look at our torso, intestines there, all those vital organs. That's where we're going to be pushed. Now, getting into the reason, the cliffhanger, back to that. This is what came up for me this week to try to discuss with you guys is, have any of you entertained or learned or investigated or been curious about fasting? So I was asking the universe, what do we need to know to make ourselves healthier? Because so many of the clients that come to me are very ill. The doctors can't diagnose it. It doesn't mean that they're not experiencing it. And aching, muscle weakness, ligaments, diabetes, weird diseases, ITP, so many weird diseases, long COVID with all the other diseases that are attached to it that we're just not familiar with, and have multiple, like lupus, symptoms that don't seem to be related but are. And so we need our healthcare workers to love us enough and maybe not be so frustrated and of course impatient because they've got such a hard workload, to be able to unravel the complications around our health, because our health matters to us. This is our life, and we want to have quality of our life. So now just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Remember, it's entertainment. But what came up this week is fasting. So I'm going to give you guys homework. I want you to, for your own best interest, and maybe the best interest of the people that you love, investigate fasting. Now, when I was younger, I don't fast as much as I used to. I was very regimented. But when I was younger, I was very, very adamant about it. The little that I know is that fasting is extremely healthy if done correctly. So that means you guys have to find out for yourselves individually what your body will tolerate. I am going to tell you my experiences. I have fasted for, I think the biggest fast I had was between 10 and 12 days. You don't do that all the time. What they're saying right now, roughly, is that the average person should fast a week-ish, everybody's different, at least once a year. It's a reset. It's a brand new beginning for your body. It makes your palate taste food very differently. It helps you get rid of the toxins in your body. Some people really lose weight, honestly, at the end of 10 days with not one morsel of food in my mouth. I didn't lose 1 pound, not 1 pound, not 1 pound. But everybody's different. I will lose weight like falling off a cliff if I go on the carnivore diet and just eat proteins. It just drops off me, but I can just stop eating and nothing happens. So I'm inhaling air that's very fat, I guess. So they want us to look at fasting and how it relates to all of you individually so that ultimately we can reset our health, our mitochondria, our energy cells, that we all are finite, not infinite. We have finite cells in our body. There's a limited number of them. They keep growing. But each of these mitochondria, I can't say it, I'm sorry, have a certain amount of energy. And if we eat or overeat or eat the wrong things, it takes so much energy to process that and put the toxins and the waste and the overage in different places. What loses is our mind clarity, feeling light and feeling like our muscles feel good. The toxins are all slapped all over our body. So the premise of fasting is that when no energy comes in, which is food, but we still have to blink and we still have to sneeze and we still have to breathe, so we still require energy to survive. It will search around our body to find out what mitochondria are ill and what cells are ill and dying and not producing as much energy as they are taking. So they commit murder and kill these cells, eat these cells for energy. And then that's all gone after a day or so. And then depending on how badly we've eaten. And then it will look around for cells that have been maybe mismapped. And so we look at it takes those cells. So that could be the beginnings of abnormal cells like cancer or that type of thing. And then we have to look at, I am sorry for the traffic, I'm not responsible for it, but I wish I had one of those strips that blow out tires for these loud muscle cars that go by. Oh, that wasn't spiritual, was it? Good heavens, so much for being an amazing spiritual person. Okay, back to being unreal. So the fasting part helps clear our body, basically, of toxins and things that we don't need. Most people, when they fast, feel that they're missing out, worry they're going to faint. Actually, the world record for not eating, it was a man. He went, for sure it was 300 days, but I think it was 340 days with no food. He lost a lot of weight. He did, but he had a lot to lose. And it was just water that he took part in. And I will have water, all the water that I want to drink, and I have 3 glasses a day of a tea, depending on what my need is, what type of tea I choose, like dandelion tea, root, liver, and if I was worried that I was getting cancer somewhere, there's just certain teas, milk thistle for different things, chamomile for sleep. They really do help, these things. So then if you can't find any cells and we still aren't eating, when it's time to finish your fast, you've heard of the keto diet, you start producing ketones, which taste sweet. And that's the signal that you've pretty well cleaned out your body and it is time to start refeeding yourself. But that it takes a certain way of going back. You can't just eat a meal. Just like starving dogs, you don't just throw a whole lot of food on them. I've seen the Humane Society bloopers on TV that they'll find these starving dogs and they go grab a bag of dog food, break it open, the dogs eat it and throw it all up and end up twisting and killing themselves. So we have to go back and start feeding ourselves a certain way. But from experience, it is amazing what food tastes like. The experience of food when your palate is clean, and the light feeling, and how little you can eat at a time and be totally satisfied, and how the things that you loved, like I love coffee and sweets and sugar, when you first start it, holy cow, it's a totally different taste. And so then you have an opportunity to reset, to not be drawn to the Cheerios and the Cheetos, all the O's. It's a whole food group. So you're not as drawn to those bad foods. So they want us to start looking at our health. Where's the cancer that so many people are up against coming from? Is it reheating the rice that you're heating, and those bacteria are toxins, and that's a whole thing. Or the hydrogenating of oils, reheating the oils, refrying our foods. So they want us to start. It's a reset. And so the fast is a reset. The energy that's offered to us in this reading is a reset. So we're being offered opportunities for brand new. Cool. So that even translates into brand new, I'm going to say, emotional takes on some of our projects in our life. How am I going to evaluate this emotionally? How am I going to think about this so I can get myself out of this hole that has been dug for me, or I have dug myself, so I can move forward? How do I, with new eyes, get in touch with the different sides of me? We all have male energy, yin yang. We all have that. Is it balanced? Do I need to pull in more warrior in me, or do I need to like chain up the warrior to a wall and tell him to get away from me for a while? Do I need more feminine intuition? Do I need more? What do I need as a person to balance myself? And that's the opportunities that we are going to be offered this week, looking at some of the sacrifices that we've made for ourselves, for other people. Why did we make these sacrifices? Are they worth anything? Just because we make a sacrifice, it might not be worth anything. That person might not be doing anything. I can give somebody some money, but they could flush it down the toilet. They can throw it in the sewer. They can give it to somebody else that doesn't need it. Is that sacrifice of me handing that over doing any good? Because why would I do it if it's not going to do any good? And that's what we're supposed to be looking at with all the energy that's around us. So that's where we are, kids. You're going to be offered opportunities to practice that. So here's your homework. You need to explore fasting. There are a lot of books out there on fasting, and then avail yourself of all of the information, and you decide for yourself, or talk to your doctor and see what he thinks. In the old country, and I've had some people that work for me in the past that were directly from the old country, couldn't even speak English, and we had a real interesting way of communicating our needs to each other. She had said that they regularly, once a week, do not eat solid foods. They can have anything that's liquid, broth, anything that's liquid, but no solid foods, once every week. And then once a month they go on a 3-day fast, I think it was. I could be wrong on that, but that's just a memory. And then once a year, a major fast. And that just keeps resetting the body. And she, oh my God, could that woman work? She was the same age as me, but she made me look like a slackard. Just unbelievable energy and optimism and just wow. And a clear woman. So that's when I started getting interested in looking into it, and it's been coming and coming and coming. So I think the universe is trying to drill this into our head that we're overeating. We're eating the wrong things when we're overeating. We're not giving our stomach, our body, our spirit, our emotions enough time to rest, and we need a reset on all levels, politically, emotionally, globally, everything. They want us to reset. So if we don't do it ourselves, it'll be done to us, at us, for us. And that's not always pleasant. On that note, I want to thank Charlie O'Brien again for putting this up for us, that man. He and just, go and listen to the big number 8 radio. He streams all the oldies, talk about a reset. And the 60s, the 70s, I think the 50s are on there too, the 80s. I don't know how to categorize. I just know that it makes me dance, makes me feel nostalgic, makes me feel happy, makes me long for the simplicity of the songs that made you feel like a kid and that things were safe and secure and it would all work out and happy and innocent. Okay, enough of that. So go and listen to his.com. And I thank him for putting us up on all of the platforms. I really am grateful. And I thank all of you for taking the time to listen to me babble. And I hope that you have some amazingly wonderful ending situations that help you form with your life and your experiences, and you're willing to be a student in this lifetime, learn, grow, and just be the best that you can be, and passing that on to each other. Alrighty, if you need me for a reading or to confuse you anymore, I'd be happy to receive your call at 519-726-6699, or you can text that number. You can also email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com. And I'm hoping for a little bit of cooler weather that will be a little long-lasting so that I can get those classes going again out in that agility field, and we can get all the animals out there playing in the pool and having fun and games and enjoying themselves, and us enjoying ourselves with the animals. So don't be afraid to give me a shout and say, is that starting yet? Sign me up. Alrighty, you have yourself a good week. Hopefully, God willing, we'll talk again next week. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.